everybody, it's Jasmine here, the day before Mother's Day, to tell everybody Happy Mother's Day. For those that celebrate, it's my personal favorite holiday, so I wanted to make something special with you guys. And that's going to be my Honey Rose Matcha Cream Cleanser. This is a very special one because it has matcha, it's a pretty green color, it has honey, it's really great for acne, great for all ages. It's a cleanser that's not going to strip your skin, and it's extra creamy and rich on the skin. All around, I promise you're going to like it. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's make this thing. Before we get started, let's go over the materials that we're going to be using, including the ingredients to the equipment that are going to be most crucial to what we're making here today. So we have our liquid castile soap. We have our ceremonial grade matcha, which is important that you get ceremonial grade. It's the best kind that there is out there, ultra fine powder. Then we have our emulsifying wax, which is the Olive M1000. We have our honey. We have our Rose Absolute over there. We have our hemp seed oil, which is important in formulations when you're making them for the face, that you have non-comedogenic oils. I do go over this in my butter video and just talk about how certain oils are more prone to clogging pores while others are not. This is going to be very important, especially if you are selling, because you don't want to give your customers products that are going to be clogging their pores. And then last but not least, for the ingredients, we have our Optifin, which is going to be our preservative that's going to keep this nice, shelf-stable, and long-lasting. So those are our ingredients. A couple things that I like to use is, as you can see, these are, except for the essential oil, I will be measuring that out in my small scale. This is a jewelry scale. And this is important because when you're measuring very fine powders or a small amount of oils, your preservatives, anything in a really small measurement, what's going to happen is it may not pick up on a bigger scale. And you want to have everything down to the exact ounce on the decimal, because this will give you your most accurate type of formulations that you can make, and you'll be able to scale up and make sure that you have very consistent batches. And then our other scale here is our food scale. And this is more for if you're measuring like bigger oils, if you're measuring anything that's going to weigh a little bit more, that may be too much for the smaller scale to handle. Next, we have some of our mixing materials here. We have an immersion stick blender. This is important for once we fully mix and emulsify our mixture here, that this is going to give it a nice, smooth, even finish. We have a few spatulas to get out everything in these bottles. We have our mixer. Now, I really like to use this specific kind of mixer because it's a frother and it's small, but whenever you're mixing fine powders, and you're going to see that in the video, I'm going to be mixing it into the oil first to make sure it's highly dissolved, because otherwise it gets clumpy. And you want to make sure not to mix it with the soap specifically, because then it's going to give you a lot of bubbles, which is going to cause you to have to wait a while before bottling. And then we also have our heat gun. We're going to be using this gun to measure when our emulsion, when our soap here is going to be cool enough to be able to apply our preservative and our essential oil at the very end. And the heat is important because if it's too hot, it will destroy the properties of your preservative that are going to keep this fresh, and so therefore it's not going to work properly as it should, and that could cause quite a few issues in your formulations. So let's go ahead and we'll get to the mixing and making. Last but not least, almost forgot. You'll see here in a second, I have hot plates since we are going to be working with a wax to make an emulsion. And I'm working with a wax Olive M1000. This is another one that's great, that's not going to clog pores. It's an emulsifying wax, so that way you don't have too much separation in your products, okay? So this is going to keep everything together nice and smooth and really give you the most benefits out of using this. You're going to get a lot of consistency. Another small note that I'll make before we get started is with your matcha, you generally want to use a small amount. Sometimes it does tend to oxidate, and it may cause some sort of browning. So you can still get the benefits by using a little bit. A little bit goes a long way, but make sure that you keep it into small amounts, because if you don't, then you'll have that browning, which isn't dangerous, but as far as it goes for a nice finished look that doesn't have that browning effect, you want to make sure to keep it to a minimum. So now, let's begin. that is how you make a honey rose matcha cream cleanser. Nice, green, creamy, very good for the face. One thing about bottling is that I prefer to use these in pump bottles. They function the best for soaps and things like that. I'm not sure if you can see that film at the top. If you are shipping, you want to either you cover and let the rest of your emulsion set aside for several hours and let it completely settle before bottling. And you want to do this because there are some bubbles at the top, and then what'll happen is if you bottle immediately, then ship it to your customer, they're going to have less than what appears to be in the bottle right now. So, or if you do bottle it, just make sure that you check on it in like several hours or the next day, and then you'll see where it's lowered. The rest of your soap will be settled, so you'll just be able to fill in the remainder. But this is very good for the skin. You're very good for all skin types. Very, very nice and lathery. And one of my personal favorite skincare items that has helped me in my skincare journey a lot for those that have been following me. So there you have it. This is how we make the honey rose matcha tea. The official recipe, if you want to get all the measurements to make this exact formula, it's purchasable right now on the website. We are having a Mother's Day sale, so feel free to indulge, get that while you can. And let me know how you like this video. If you have any questions on the recipe, formula, or anything like that, let me know and I'll be more than happy to help, all right? So you guys have a lovely holiday, lovely day, whatever it is that you got going on, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.